The Awakening, directed by Nick Murphy, had a budget of $3.1 million and was supported by BBC Creative Scotland and Studio Canal. It looked promising and it had an interesting premise. When I was in middle school, I watched this movie and I loved it. I even tried writing a short story based on the same premise. Out of curiosity, I rewatched it with my boyfriend recently, and wow, it's really cringy. First of all, my main issue is in the overall idea of the story. I think the concept of a ghost boy haunting a boarding school and a badass woman hunting it down is great. It looks like this movie had a lot of potential, but it fell flat in multiple places. The opening scenes catch your attention, and the female lead has great acting. Her motivation is set very clearly. The movie paces itself accordingly until Ms. Cathcart arrives at the school. It's at this moment you notice the horrible color grading. As somebody who took years of DFT and made multiple short films, I understand what they're attempting to go for, but it just doesn't work. The whites look yellow, and the sky and walls have this weird faded greenish tinge. Everybody else's acting other than the main characters is very overdramatic, and don't get me started on the child actors. The writers clearly didn't know how to write them well because their dialogue consists of creepy one-liners directed towards Miss Cathcart or just simply for exposition. They have no personality. I personally hate when horror movies make children out to be one-dimensional tools just to generate scares. Children aren't scary for me, which leads to the main ghost boy, who is, spoiler alert, the main character's dead brother. This kid just fucks around with Florence trying to get her to remember her past. Why didn't he just talk to her normally like he does at the end, instead of moving a dollhouse around the school, hiding a stuffy in a wall, and pulling her into a lake, almost killing her? Not only that, but he apparently likes to watch her bathe naked. I mean, I get that he was trying to trigger hidden memories, but he does it in the most obnoxious manner. And how does Florence not remember any of this stuff? I mean, she's a full-grown adult, and you can't tell me that after all these years, her psycho-killer dad hasn't been brought up even once? Why haven't her foster parents said anything to help her cope with her past? I mean, it's not like everybody in England made a blood oath to not tell her the truth. Getting past this, the editing is horrible. The clips cut sharply into one another, and the ghost effects are laughable.
It's just us three.
The plot twist is presented in a pretentious way, as if it's trying to show off, and character dialogue just kind of devolves into this flowery nonsense.
Takes time. That's why they call it patience.
I'll get the medicine cabinet and water room quickly. Something to make me sick. Something to make me sick.
Oh, God. No!
Just shove your fingers into your throat if you're that desperate and puke it up.
I need to sleep.
If the poison is affecting you this much, this fast, then that means it's already been digested and puking it up won't save you. I mean, even little Tommy giving her this antidote is way too far-fetched. Oh boy. At the end, the movie attempts to make you believe she's dead, and she's haunting the school. And by all means, this should have just been the ending, and I would have loved it if she did stay dead. Unfortunately, the movie just wanted to pull the wool over your eyes and remind you how smart and clever it is. All in all, this entire movie loses its small bit of momentum fast and becomes a boring snooze fest. I can see why I thought this movie was good when I was in middle school, because I was young and simple enough to think it was being clever. At a base level, I mean, I'm sure this movie is fine, but it lacks finesse, and it's just another horror movie you're gonna forget about in a week.